with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Yes, thanks for joining us here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is indeed Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence. I'm Jake Bachman, the producer inside the building, as well as Chris, who is Emma's guest. So I'll let Emma go ahead and let us get to know Chris a little bit more and a little bit more about herself. Emma, take it away.
Hi, everyone. So here tonight, I'm with Chris Kolarvik, my boyfriend and former Husker football player. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit, telling our viewers a little bit about yourself. So where you're from, your family, your football career, maybe your education a little bit too.
We can get to all that. I think first and foremost, the intro needs a little bit of work.
Okay.
Your intro of your guest. I think it might need a little bit of work.
Sorry.
I think so. I'm going to give you an intro.
Okay.
Because I think you need one.
Okay.
So this is, people listening, this is Emma Spence, my friend, my girlfriend, my business partner, an overall elite human, member of the Canadian Olympic gymnastics team, alternate, face of the Nebraska gymnastics program. She has been all over the world doing gymnastics and is studying communications in school, doing great. So now a little bit about myself. We started dating about 2 years ago. I was playing football in Nebraska at the time. It was the infamous last Scott Frost season. That was my year. I graduated with my MBA and my master's degree from Nebraska. And now I'm living in Omaha doing real estate with the Noddle companies.
Very nice. So where are you from?
I'm from Traverse City, Michigan.
And what's your family like? I think they should be tuning in tonight.
They should be. My family, actually, shout out to them. They're in vacation in the Grand Canyon right now, enjoying it. But my family, my mom's from South Africa, actually. She immigrated when she was about 20 years old. And my dad grew up in Michigan, small town. My family, we grew up on a dirt road in Michigan, humble beginnings. And my dad he's a businessman in Michigan, up in Traverse City, and he's done well for himself. My mom works at a hospital. She does inpatient physical therapy, and they're two amazing parents. And then my little brother actually just moved down to Houston to do real estate.
Nice. So before you were here at Nebraska, you were at Northern Iowa for football. What was that like?
Northern Iowa was gritty. Northern Iowa is the most gritty university on the face of the earth. I learned toughness. I learned grit there. I made amazing friendships there. I got my degree in economics at that school. I graduated in 3 years, a little early, and then I transferred, but I had an amazing time at that school.
And that was a little bit during COVID too, right?
The end of it was during COVID. My last season at UNI got canceled because of COVID, and that's when I went in the transfer portal.
So were you guys training or anything during that time, or it was just pretty much everything shut down?
Oh, we were training.
You were training?
We were training.
Okay.
Yeah. And even when we weren't training with the team, we had houses and we had garage gyms in the houses, and we were in there lifting. Stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then you came here, you got your MBA at Nebraska. You got that done in 2 years, a year and a half?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Nice. And now you said you lived in Omaha. What do you do in Omaha?
I do. I think I already mentioned that once, but we can go into more detail.
More details.
I do commercial real estate in Omaha. I'm working with Jay Noddle and Sam Noddle and Aaron Noddle with the Noddle companies. They're probably the biggest name in real estate in Omaha right now. If you don't know them, you should. They're doing amazing developments all around the city. The Builders District, Exarban Village. They have developments in real estate that are making a huge impact on the city in a majorly positive way.
Nice. So you used to live in Lincoln. Now you live in Omaha. Are there any differences or any fun things you like to do in Omaha that you can't really do in Lincoln?
They're pretty similar. I mean, they're only 45 minutes away. They're almost the same city. I mean, half the city commutes to it anyway. It's a great city. It's got enough to do, and it's small, but it's a small city, but it's also kind of a big city where it's a good size and has plenty to do. Yeah.
Nice.
So, what do you think of Omaha?
I like it. So you live in, yeah, Exarban, which is
Exarban.
newer,
Yeah.
right? A lot of things to do.
So I'll say this about Nebraska. Nebraska is a great city, and what I like a lot about Nebraska is it's hard to find people that aren't friendly. Like I like to walk around and have people say hi to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nice about Nebraska. Like you go to Boston and everybody's kind of giving you the evil eye, like you did something wrong all the time. Nebraska, like you go on the street and people are saying hi. Like you can go make friends with everybody. It's a nice city. It's positive. It's uplifting. Um, I enjoy it here. I think Omaha is really going a good direction. I think it's going places. I think it's an amazing city that is kind of getting put on the map. Um, and what's interesting about Omaha and Lincoln, I think, is that it's literally the center of the country. Like there's military bases here. It's just the center. If you're driving through the country at all, you're going to go right through Lincoln and Omaha, and that's what's so beautiful about it. And they call some states the flyover states, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln's kind of like the drive-through state.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you ever drive through the country, you're driving through Lincoln. So it's a cool place. And I grew up in Michigan, and I came here. I kind of expected to stay 2 years and leave, and ended up obviously staying. I liked the place enough to stay, and found opportunity here. Playing for the football program is obviously a major blessing and an opportunity in itself. We weren't as successful when I was there, which was frustrating, but it's great to see the program going in a great direction now. It's amazing to see. I think Coach Rule's got them going a great direction. Shout out to the boys for winning last night. That was actually not even last night, it was midday. Shout out to the boys for winning midday yesterday. That was great. They killed it. John Bullock getting the game-winning pick six. That's what we needed. I think they look great. And Nebraska's a place where the people are welcoming. The people are just overall great humans. I think
Good.
I think you found the same.
Yes. So I forgot to mention this, after your career at Nebraska, you went to some NFL camps, right? I don't really know how that works completely, so you can explain that if you want. And
Yeah, I
then,
basically had some tryouts. I went to the camp and practiced with the team and
mm-hmm.
Did the thing.
Yeah.
But I went to New Orleans Saints and the Chicago Bears. Didn't work out, but it was cool to see and cool to be on that level and cool to play on those fields.
And then you ended up playing in the CFL in Canada.
I ended up playing in the CFL, and I used gritty to describe Northern Iowa. Like if there's a city that's gritty in Canada, it's Hamilton.
You're
So
wearing the shirt too.
I'm wearing the shirt. I always rock Hamilton. Shout out to Simone Lawrence up in Canada. He's probably not going to listen, but CFL Hall of Famer. That's who I played behind when I was up there. Played a little bit of defense, a lot of special teams, and that's a gritty city. Picked up a lot of grit along the way. As you can see, I probably said that word about 10 times since I've been here. But yeah, Hamilton's a great place. I know you're from like 45 minutes from there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool because I did get to know her family and where she grew up a lot, which was, I think, really amazing to see. But yeah, the CFL is cool. I know I got a couple friends still playing up there. Ativa Mauga Clemens.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody listening remembers him, he's killing it up in Edmonton, Alberta right now, playing for the Elks, formerly known as the Eskimos. He's doing really well up there. It's great to see. If you ever want to watch a game, you'll see him out there. You'll see him with the long hair playing like a Tasmanian devil, just out there making plays. He's killing it. I know Nuri, who used to have a show here, is playing up in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
I know Deontay Williams, who I played with, number 8, the safety, is playing in Saskatchewan. And I think that's it for now. That's all that I'm remembering off the top of my head. But, the CFL is a great league. It's been around for 150 years. It's a little different than the NFL, but there's some really great players up there. I mean, you don't get paid that well. If I'm just being upfront about it with the listeners, you don't get paid great. Like you make enough to survive, but like you're really up there for the love of the game. And that's what I respected about a lot of the players up there, especially ones that have played 8, 10, 12 years up there, where I respect their hustle and I respect their amount of love, like deep passion that they have for the game. It's really incredible.
Yeah, the love of the sport definitely probably keeps them going, which is really cool. Another thing that you mentioned is the CFL rules are different than like American football rules, right?
They are.
And like Isn't it like the
So you should
field?
know this, having grown up there,
I know,
right?
but I never watched
I know your
football.
grandpa loves it.
I
Your
know he
grandpa
does.
knows
He's
all the
probably
rules.
listening. He's
He
gonna
was
listen to
explaining the
this
rules
too.
to me
I know.
when I got up there. Yeah, it is way different. It's much more of a passing league. It's not as like hard downhill run game because there's 18 games. So it's a lot more finesse. There's 18 games, first of all. And I mean, it's not like you have that many bodies to just be rotating in all the time. So, I mean, the rosters are smaller and there's more players on the field at a time. There's 12 players on the field at a time. The field's bigger, the ball's bigger. The end zone has a goalpost in the middle of the field that people run into all the time, which is very funny. Um, it's an interesting league. If you watch a game, it's like, what am I watching? It's really not even football. It's like, I mean, you got wide receivers running before the snap. Like, it makes no sense, but it was fun. It was like playing in your backyard, basically. I mean, you got wide receivers running before the snap. You got 12 guys on the field. I mean, you got people out there just kind of playing ball. Like, they're real good at finessing you. Like, it's not so much about scheme as much as like people will just get out there and try to mess you up. Like, they'll try and put a crazy juke move on you or kind of mess with your feet. It had a lot less to do with the scheme. The coaching was way less important. It was a lot about just who can get out there and play like it's backyard football is what it felt like.
Nice. When you were living in Canada, was there anything fun that you did outside of football? Or are you kind of just
Yes.
always doing football?
No, there was plenty of stuff. I mean, I got to know some great guys on the team, first of all. I think that's really a major benefit of playing on a bunch of different football teams is you meet a bunch of amazing humans. Like a couple of my best friends up there, like one was from Virginia. He went to Virginia Tech. He was from Florida, big D lineman. Another DB from Oklahoma. You just get to know people from all over the country and you learn a lot about people. It's amazing. Other than that, in Canada, you know what? As much as like Hamilton's kind of it's a little bit of like a blue collar city, like a little, I don't want to say dirty, but like kind of dirty a little bit.
It's like a factory town.
Like it's like a factory town, but it's also how do they say it? It's the capital of waterfalls in Canada. I don't know if you knew that. Like there's like a million waterfalls in Hamilton.
Did you find them?
I found a couple. I got lost trying to find a couple, but I found a couple.
And it's near Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is definitely a really pretty view.
It is. It is. Other than that, to be honest with you, I was in a raw milk phase when I was up there. Like, I don't know. I mean, just so the listeners know, like I played around with my diet a lot in the last, when I was playing, I would play around with my diet, kind of figure out what works best. And I was in a phase where I was drinking a lot of raw milk. And so up there, it's like pretty illegal, like raw milk. Like you're not supposed to drink raw milk up there. Like it's like you're not supposed to do it. So I had to search all over the province, not state. Let's get that clear, very clear. Nice. I had to search all over the place for this raw milk, which I mean it's legal here. You're just not really like you can't sell it at stores. But I found that. You know, I went out and saw the city a few times. We went out in Toronto. That was great. I also, you know what? As I'm talking, I just remembered my friend Jared. He doesn't play at Nebraska. That's why I didn't mention him earlier. But Jared Brinkman's one of the best D linemen in the whole CFL. Watch him play. One of the best D linemen in the whole CFL. Should get a great contract next year. He was my roommate and best friend at Northern Iowa.
He plays for Toronto.
He plays for Toronto. So I would go to Toronto and see Jared. I would go to Toronto and see the city. I didn't spend a ton of time in Hamilton. Like I think I went to a comedy club or two and like just kind of went around the city and, you know, found stuff to do. But like Toronto, I spent a good amount of time there. And then Burlington's like in the middle. So I went there too. Yeah. But it was cool to be able to explore a different country. And then too, you would go to different games and there was like, I got to go to Ottawa, which is like the capital. To be honest, it doesn't have anything on Washington, D.C., if I'm being honest with the listeners. Like Canada just doesn't do it like the USA. But it was cool to see for sure. And I went to the mall in Ottawa and like I saw that. That was cool. I went to Montreal, which is like, that's a cool city. Like, that's a really cool city. I don't think we have anything like that in the US. Like it's just different up there. It's half French. Like most of the people speak French. That's also an interesting part about Canada too, is that a lot of people speak French. That's what they don't tell you when you go up there. But like, a lot of people speak French.
Montreal is in Quebec, and Quebec is like their like main language is French. They're the only province in Canada that's only French or like mostly French. So yeah, when you
what's interesting about that stadium too is like if you look up a picture of the Montreal stadium, there's literally some dormitories built in the side of this stadium. It's the weirdest thing you've ever seen. Like it's this like off kilter, kind of weird looking stadium. And then in like one of the end zones, there's literally dorms built into the stadium. It's the weirdest thing ever. You should look it up on your computer, but like that's where Nuri's at right now.
Yeah.
But it's very strange. It'd be cool to have that dorm and be able to watch the games from the dorm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you imagine if like Nebraska had a dorm built into the side of the stadium? Like, there'd be
That'd
like
be
50
crazy.
college kids packed in that dorm every game. That would be so cool.
That'd be crazy.
But yeah, it's an interesting league up there. It's different. It's weird. Like, they don't sell the stadiums out usually. I mean, there's 18 games, so it's pretty quiet. But that I will say, shout out to Hamilton for that Labor Day game though. The Labor Day game is the one you want to see up in. Well, I guess they do 2 Labor Day games. One is between British Columbia Lions and the Edmonton Elks, and the other one is between Hamilton and Toronto, and they're like rivalry games. And they pack the stadium out. If you're ever going to go to a game in Canada, that's the one you want to go to.
And that was your first game that you ever played at, right?
That was the first game I got up there. And then 2 weeks later, the Labor Day game was on, and they were like, all right, you're suiting up. I was like, all right, let's go. So I went out there. It was hotter than, it was hot. Like it was,
yeah.
So it was a crazy introduction to the CFL, but it was cool. You know what? The CFL versus the NFL really reminds me of like that Northern Iowa versus Nebraska. It's really a similar comparison to like the jump in facilities. Not even necessarily talent, but like facilities, overall budget, everything that goes into it. It's just, it's that kind of jump. It's hard to go from like a Nebraska, which is why I think you don't see many guys going from like bigger schools to there, where it's like you see a lot of guys that like just love football from smaller schools up there. Or there's like, there's some guys that from bigger schools that just love playing. Like there was a few, but like it's one of those places where you really have to love the game, because the weight room is probably not as nice as the one you had in college. The practice field is definitely not as nice as you had in college. The stadium's not going to fill up like you had in college. So it's really about that love of the game, playing in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. And the fans, though, they seemed pretty into it, because I went to that one game, the Hamilton game, and I was surprised by how many fans were there, because, I mean, the only football game that I've ever been to is the Nebraska one, or the Nebraska ones here. And then I went to it, and honestly, I didn't even know CFL was really a thing. I just never grew up watching it.
That's crazy.
I know. I don't know. Football, I just don't get it still.
You don't get it? All right. Well, let's talk through it. What don't you get about it? Let me explain it right now on the radio.
No. Like, I do understand,
because maybe some
the
people
main
listening
idea.
don't get it either. So maybe we just do some Q&A about football. Okay. What do you need to know?
Well, okay, I understand like the main thing, how like there's like the 2 sides and you're trying to get to that end or the other end.
You got
and
it.
If someone like kicks it, then okay, if you catch it and you run to the end, you get points. And then if you kick it after, you get other points. And then you taught me yesterday that you can, instead of kicking it, you can do one more tackle. And then if they don't make it, it's nothing. But if you get it in, then it's 2 points.
Oh, right. She's trying to explain 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
So she's trying to explain 2-point conversion. So 2-point conversions, yes.
Like instead of kicking it, you can do like one more try.
You can after you score.
Again.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I get it, but then sometimes I'm watching and then I don't know, I lose track of the ball for one.
Right.
And just like, I don't.
See, I lose track of the ball in hockey. You lose track of the ball in hockey when you're watching on TV?
Yeah, I understand hockey better though.
But like, okay, I shouldn't have said ball because it's a puck. I don't want to sound like an amateur out here, but like it's a puck, and I lose sight of the puck. Like it's pretty obvious where it is, but like I think a puck is way harder to see than a ball. It's like 5 times the size of a puck,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I grew up watching hockey instead of football.
Interesting.
And I just understand it a little bit better, and I feel like it's less complicated because like one end or the other end, and wherever the thing goes, like the puck goes, you go, and I don't know, because there's like all the plays, right? And then like sometimes they switch positions, then they switch.
Football guys get a reputation for being idiots, but football is probably the most complex sport on the planet. It's true.
Yeah, I mean,
because there's so many people on the field. Like there's just so many people and so many moving parts. Like I'm not saying you have to be a genius by any means, but I mean a lot of the coaches are. You have to be pretty smart to understand like what all 22 like the best quarterbacks, they're actually geniuses. Their IQ has to be like Aaron Rodgers' IQ has to be like 150. He knows what's going on with all 22 players on the field, and that's hard to do because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gotten a lot
12
better,
in
though.
Canada too. It's even more complicated in Canada,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting better though. Like ever since I've been here. I mean, because okay, think about it. My first ever football game, like watching or being at, was my freshman year.
Right.
That was only a couple of years ago.
Made
And
no
then
sense.
I only went, no, absolute no sense. I only went to like 1 or 2 that whole year because I just was like, this is just confusing. So then
Lack
I
of
just stopped
support.
going.
Look at the support.
No,
for
no, no,
her-
listen.
For her university.
Listen.
Here.
And then the second year, I went to like every game because you were playing.
Right.
And then I knew you. And then I was like, oh, at least I can like, there's something for me to do because I can just look for you.
Right.
So that was a lot better.
Yeah.
So I did go to every football game my sophomore year. I still didn't really know what was going on.
The university thanks you.
Yeah,
I
no.
thank you on behalf of Nebraska
Like,
University of Nebraska for showing support.
I love the football games. Like the vibes are so cool. We just went with my dad and my sister the other week.
Fun.
That was their first
There was
football
a
game
very,
ever.
very funny little chubby kid sitting next to us in the stands that was very funny. He was entertaining, you know, especially as the game started going worse and worse. He was speaking for everybody, I would say. It was very funny.
Yeah.
They're entertaining. They're great games.
Yeah, they're good. They're fun. I love the light show and like the things they do in between too, not just the football part. Like, and then the fireworks when there's like the touchdowns. And
The
stuff.
Fireworks, the balloons.
Yeah,
the balloons.
are
It's like a carnival out there, really.
It's cool. Like, yeah. So even if I didn't know what was going on fully, I mean, when you were playing, it was easy to be entertained because I could just like look for you. But then I was confused because I'm like, why aren't you on the field? Why are you on the field? Like, I never really understood that, but that's okay.
Okay, so I don't play offense, so that's why I was not on the field. Like when I was not on the field, I do not play off. I did not play offense. That was not my thing. So when I would come off, that was when the offense would go on the field.
Because you were linebacker.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
So I wasn't a get the ball guy. I was
you were like tackling the people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
See, this is why I appreciate her so much because she really she loves me for me. Let's be honest, because it's not football.
All right, let's take a quick break. We got more from Emma Spence and Chris Kolarvik coming up next here on Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence. Coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nebraskans are proud of their public schools. Hi, I'm Tim Royers. As a Nebraska Teacher of the Year, I traveled across the state and saw the value public schools bring to our communities every day. They're where our kids get the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. They're where families come together to enjoy a musical, cheer for our teams, talk with teachers, and build trusted relationships. Strong public schools create strong communities.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G35609. 93 must trade.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Still using that old, outdated office phone system? You need better. At Hamilton, we offer solutions for the modern office. Whether you have an office full of staff or your employees work remotely and are on the go, seamless call handling is important. Elevate your communication and connect seamlessly with clients and staff with Hamilton Business Phone Systems. Choose better and hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Old School with DP and J.
And, this part of camp it happens in high school camp, when they have a certain amount of time before their game, before school starts and all that. And then it happens in college and it happens in the pros. I had more fights with some of my good friends, the guys that I'm considered lifelong friends at this point in camp than with some over-energized rookie trying to make a name for himself. Seriously.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of September. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and watercraft in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Yes, here we are again on a Sunday night. Hopefully you're enjoying us on the stream. This is indeed Beyond the Routine with Spence, Emma Spence, and Chris Kolarvik in studio. Guys, I'll send it back over to you.
All right, so we were just talking. You roasted me quite a bit about football and my lack of knowledge for football. So how well do you think you know gymnastics?
As the judges would score gymnastics.
As the judges would
a 10
score.
out of 10.
Okay. That was good. So like NCAA gymnastics, you've been to a bunch of meets. You kind of understand how that works. 10s are good. 9s are good, but like lower than that, not good, right?
Right.
Okay. But you did get to go to an elite competition with me in Belgium last year.
I did.
And what were the differences there? Did you notice anything? Because I remember after I started on vault, I guess I'm not gonna ask. I'm gonna ask if you know first.
If I notice the differences, well, pops out at me, the bar height is different.
Like they're closer.
They're closer.
Mhm.
That's a big one.
Mhm.
I noticed that it was overall. I don't know anybody. I don't really know specifics. I just know vibes. Much more serious, like very intense, very like there's a lot on the line. We need to be focused and paying attention here. Like we're trying to make the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very intense. It was a different energy in the arena. Like it was just different. The stands, the facility was much less grandiose than Nebraska for sure. It was a little bit different. I mean, I don't know about specifics off the top of my head though.
One story that always makes me laugh is so basically in elite gymnastics, if you don't know, you have the chance to compete 2 vaults if you want to qualify into vault finals. In NCAA gymnastics, it's just one routine on each event. But in elite gymnastics, to qualify to a vault final, you need to do 2 different vaults. And I started on vaults at this competition. I did my 2 vaults, 2 different vaults. I competed that first. We went to bars. I did my bar routine. I don't know if you remember this. And I got off. I finished. And when the coaches walked by you and you asked the coach, you said, "Is she going to go bars again?" Do you remember that?
Oh, right. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Because you had done 2 vaults.
Yeah.
And I was thinking in my head, like, what do they? I guess they must do 2 of everything.
Yeah, that was funny.
Okay.
But yeah, no, just vault. It's just a vault thing in elite. If you want to qualify to finals, you don't even have to do 2. I was just trying to get into the vault final at that competition. But I thought that was funny. I forgot to explain that to you before the competition started because she's like, "Your boyfriend just came up to me and asked if you're going bars again." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Well, I'm assuming." And then we started talking. I was like, "Oh, it's probably because I just did 2 vaults and you've never seen that before."
Right.
But
The vault was very interesting. It was to do 2 of them, I think there's probably is there a different strategy that goes into it, or is it just I'm going to do the exact same thing
no,
twice?
so okay.
That's what I thought. I mean, I was pretty
so
sure.
this is something I guess you probably don't know. There's different vault families we call them. They have different entries. So you know how here I do the round off back handspring on the table, flip off of it. When I was there, I did a vault called Sukahara. So I jumped on the board and I put my hands on and I flipped off without doing the back handspring.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the rule to qualify yourself in a vault finals is you need to do 2 different vaults from 2 different families.
Yeah.
So they're like completely different.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. Okay, so you do have to do 2 completely different
2
ones.
completely different vaults, 2 completely different families. I couldn't do like a Yurchenko
I mean, like
layout in full.
you could really only do that with vault. Like you couldn't do 2 floor routines. It's just not realistic. Like you're going to be exhausted.
No, that's why when I thought about doing another bar routine, I was like, absolutely not. There's no way.
The upper body couldn't do it.
No, and just endurance because also the elite routines are so much longer than the NCAA routines.
That's right.
And just like higher difficulty, so the skills are harder,
Mhm.
more endurance, more
Right.
all that.
Right.
Okay. Well, do you have any other questions about gymnastics or ready to move on?
See,
from
the
that?
only thing really about gymnastics that I don't know and don't understand is like the names of everything. And honestly, I never even tried to figure it out. Like I know there's like something called a wolf and there's a pike maybe or something.
Jump.
Okay, but I didn't really try or even like pay attention to it. I just know like, okay, knees bent a little bit there, they're gonna take some points off, or like you slipped, points off, or whatever. I don't know the names of everything, and I didn't really attempt to learn it.
No, that makes sense. So the names like that you just named off are like more basic skills, and those are like positions. So like a wolf jump, or like I do a wolf turn. It's when one leg's bent and the other one's straight.
Right.
Pike is like a pike.
Right.
And then like layout is straight body, tuck is tuck. But then the names of the actual skills are basically named off of the first ever gymnast to do that skill.
So you need to make your own then.
So yes, I was actually talking about this on the show I was on earlier this week. That's kind of what motivates or like pushes gymnasts to like go as far as they can is if you create a skill that no one else has ever done before, it gets named after you.
So what's out there? What hasn't been done? What can be done here?
Like
Can we
for
just
me?
yeah.
No, that's the thing. Like, how do you like? I don't know how people even think about doing that. Like we were talking about how Simone Biles has like 5 different skills named after
So
her.
they call it the Biles?
She's got like there's like the Biles 1, the Biles 2, like many
Wow.
different skills, which is crazy.
I mean, can other people even do it though?
You can do it, but it's named after her.
No, like I know like they
do
are
her skills.
allowed to, but like
Some of
can
them
they
no.
physically do
Some
it?
of them that Simone has made no. Like they're just like she's just in another league.
Too elite.
But like the skill, like Yurchenko, the vault, that's named after someone whose last name was Yurchenko.
Chenko.
And then like Sukahara,
Right.
like the other vault, that's named after someone. So some of the words can be hard to pronounce because they're
That's
from
really
different-
legendary. I think that
Yeah.
you should work on that.
Well, kind of running out of time.
I mean, there's as long as there's time left on the clock, until the fat lady sings, as they say.
If you can come up with something, then you let me know. Because I don't know. Like everyone kind of considers it or thinks about it, but it's so hard to think of something that no one's ever done before that you can just like chuck with your body.
Right.
Like especially in gymnastics, like that you can do safely, that you can do successfully.
Safe.
Well,
Is any of it safe?
That's
Let's
true.
be honest here.
That is true.
Is any? I mean, I see how many injuries happen. Like, is any of it really safe? Like, Is that our main concern here? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be cool. But I get what you're saying. Like, it's hard. It's just, there's only so many things you can really do with your body, especially if you're not Simone Biles and you're 4'1" and can just like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just a little different.
Mhm.
And I think gymnastics has probably gotten to the point where it's been around so long that
Exactly.
everything's kind of been
a lot
hit.
of the skills have been invented already, and then you just like Yurchenko,
Right. Like,
and
we're
then you
not,
do the half, and then you add another. Like it's just
yeah.
like
Like, we're not the first people who have sat here and said, what different skills could you do? People have done this, and
Mhm.
you know, so I feel like everything's been covered.
Yeah.
That it's
I know a couple girls,
feasible.
like Ellie Black has a couple named after her.
Really?
It's pretty
So
cool.
they call it the black?
Mhm.
Nice.
Yep. So yeah, that's kind of how that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's
So-
a cool sport. It's completely different than football. I mean, it's
It is
somewhat
very different.
similar. Like, it's somewhat similar in like the type of athlete you need to be. Like, it's just a once a week. It's literally, I think it's the exact same schedule. Like, there's 12 meets, just like football. There's 12 games, and it's once a week on the weekend. So it's like a very similar type of, like, you need to be a very explosive, short, twitchy athlete. It's a very similar type of training to football, but like, it's just completely different in that football is so team oriented.
I was gonna say.
And gymnastics is so individual oriented that like the training for football is very team wide. It's very competitive and very like even the training is competitive. Whereas gymnastics, you're kind of just in your own lane.
Somewhat. I mean, like on
Like the
a team,
meets,
like
the
you're
meets are competitive even
Yes.
within your team. But then like
Yes.
football, you go into the games and it's like it's your team is against your team against the world, your team against
Mhm.
everybody. But then you get into the workouts and it's very like that's where you get the competition.
Mhm. I would say that we have some of that too, training. But like in a healthy way. You see someone doing really well and you want to be able to like rise to their level, and then we kind of like go out and feed off of each other that way. But I get what you mean. It's not like as like competitive as I imagine it would be for a bunch of men in the weight room.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um so we were talking about this a little bit earlier too. What was your training and everything like growing up? Because actually, you weren't even doing football the whole time. First, you were into skiing, right? That was like your main sport.
Yeah.
But then talk a little bit about what it was like growing up, I guess, being a skier and a football player, and like how that process was in high school. Because, like we were talking about too, football is like a school sport. So you like played at your school. Like for gymnastics, I had to go to a club outside of school and it wasn't even anything in relation to school. And I would go train for that. So I don't know, how is that like training, but like still being at school and like being the
Football is
school
very
team?
different in general. It's a very politically tied sport
Mhm.
where it's literally like the fabric of the school or the fabric of the
Mhm.
state in the case of Nebraska. Like that is literally directly tied to the football team.
Mhm.
Like it's very like the overall energy of the state or the school is really dependent on the football team in a lot of ways. In the fall at least.
Mhm.
Where if the football team's doing good, everybody's feeling great about the university or the school. And if football is going bad, it's like everybody's kind of down, depressed,
Mhm.
depending on the school. But there's degrees depending on the school, but it's how it is. And it's just a different, like everything's together. So training wise, growing up, I did skiing until I was in 8th grade. I was pretty intense at that. So I do get the individual side of things because I was really intense in skiing. Like that was my thing. And then I decided that I liked the football thing because I liked the crowds and I liked playing and I liked watching it on TV. It was my favorite sport. And I just really wanted to go all in on that. So I went all in on that. And I met this guy when I was a freshman in high school. No, sophomore in high school. Who before that I was kind of aimless with it. Like I would train hard, but I didn't really know what I was doing.
Mhm.
But then I met this guy named Ryan Mullaney, who is a legend, an underground legend, you could say. I mean, not that many people know who he is, like, but a lot of people know who he is. Like, he's not publicly known, but I met him, and he taught me how to train like a football player and eat, and how to get bigger, how to get bigger, stronger, faster. And I spent a lot of time working on that. So I spent like, most of my high school and early college days, like figuring out how to train my body and like work through injuries and train myself to get myself into that condition that you need to be playing football at.
And then, so I don't really know how it works being on a school sports team. Like, would you practice before school, after school, like during school? Because like I train during the day. Like I always train afternoons on weekdays. Like how did that work for your
In
training?
high school specifically?
Hmm.
High school, we would get done with school and go to practice.
Okay. And then you would train literally like the only people on that team were the ones that you went to school with.
You got it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
got
it was
pretty
cool.
close with them and everything.
Very
right?
close. Yeah.
Very cool.
Still close with them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. Let's take another quick break. We got one more segment. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Routine with Spence coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Nebraskans are proud of their public schools. Hi, I'm Tim Royers. As a Nebraska Teacher of the Year, I traveled across the state and saw the value public schools bring to our communities every day. They're where our kids get the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. They're where families come together to enjoy a musical, cheer for our teams, talk with teachers, and build trusted relationships. Strong public schools create strong communities.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G356093 must trade.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Still using that old, outdated office phone system? You need better. At Hamilton, we offer solutions for the modern office. Whether you have an office full of staff or your employees work remotely and are on the go, seamless call handling is important. Elevate your communication and connect seamlessly with clients and staff with Hamilton Business Phone Systems. Choose better and hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Old School with DP and J.
And, this part of camp it happens in high school camp, when they have a certain amount of time before their game, before school starts and all that. And then it happens in college and it happens in the pros. I had more fights with some of my good friends, the guys that I'm considered lifelong friends at this point in camp, than with some over-energized rookie trying to make a name for himself. Seriously.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
All right, final segment here on Beyond the Routine with Spence. Emma Spence, Chris Kolarvik in studio today. Don't go anywhere. Get your Happy On Hour coming up after this. But for the final segment, I'll send it over to you, Emma.
All right, so you have some exciting news that you want to share for this last segment.
Very exciting.
Would you like to announce it, or do you want me to?
I think you can give it a little intro.
Okay, so let me see how my intro skills are. I didn't prep for this. So Chris is starting his new radio show next week. He's got his own show. It's actually going to be the block right before mine. So it starts 6. So 6 to 7 will be Chris's show, and 7 to 8 will be my show.
You got it.
Exciting. So do you have any name ideas yet?
Yes.
Would you like to share, or is it a surprise?
I think I can share.
Okay.
It's the show is going to be.
Yeah, talk about your show a little bit too.
I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about, if I'm being totally honest with you. I'll probably touch on Nebraska football, but in full transparency to everybody, I have transitioned my focus to the next phase of my life, and I am not as invested or involved in football as I was.
Mm-hmm.
I watch the games. I pay attention a little bit. I know some guys on the team, so I'll talk about it briefly, 5 minutes a show or whatever it is, especially during the season, maybe a little longer. But I think I'm going to talk a little bit about NFL stuff. I really love the Detroit Lions. I'd love to talk about a lot of the friends I have playing in the NFL, or friends that I have starting businesses. I got a lot of amazing people around the country who are doing amazing things. I think it'd be great to highlight them.
CFL?
In the CFL. I'm going to talk. I'll probably do a segment about that type of thing. I'll talk about. I want to talk about real estate a little bit. The things I'm working on, the things that I'm doing, the things that the company's doing, and even my family who does real estate back in Michigan. Touch on some of those things, and kind of just give some of my takes on life.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about things I've learned over the years, things I picked up, things I've seen, stories that I have, people that I've met. Just talk about life, talk about my story, go into more depth as I go on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just going to get on there and talk. Whatever's on my mind is just going to come out. And so I'm going to because to round that off, because I don't know exactly, like, I don't have like an exact talking point. I'm going to call it 6 p.m. in Lincoln.
Okay. That's pretty good.
We're just going to have I'm going to have a chat with Lincoln, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you never told me that. I thought you had a different one earlier, but I forget.
No, that's what I landed on. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I like that. That'll be good. Are you going solo? Are you going to have guests, or a little bit of both?
Solo.
Every time?
No, I'll have people on occasionally.
Yeah.
I'll have people on.
Huh.
I'm not going to just have somebody on because I need somebody on. No,
Yeah.
I'm going to go solo a lot probably. But yeah, I'll have like, I know one of my friends is starting a roofing business. I'd love to have him on. Some of my friends are playing in the NFL. Love to have them on. Certain people that I'm around that are interesting, I'd love to have them on. Or people that are just going to talk about, things they're interested in. I'd love to have them on. So we'll just talk about whatever.
Nice. Yeah, we're just talking about how you're a lot more go with the flow, and like you won't really plan it out as much as like I came in with like the points of like what I wanted to talk about.
Right. And I think that's a reason why our dynamic works well, is because I kind of just pick things up as I go and figure things out as I go. And you're much more of a planner, see things as they like, plan things out, like have things set up. And I think that helps me a lot of times too.
Yeah, well, and me, because kind of ran out of ideas at the beginning. So
Right.
helped.
That was funny.
Yeah.
So for the
this is funny
for the audience.
I don't know if they can see this.
Emma's new to her show.
Yeah.
So she's kind of figuring things out, which is amazing. I think she's doing great. I think she's doing really, really well. And this is going to be the most entertaining hour of the week for people, probably her show. She's going to have great people on. She at the beginning of the show expected me to talk a little more about my intro, and
Which is why I didn't introduce him.
Right. So
fully.
so as I was kind of didn't talk about it much, she wrote SOS on her paper because she didn't know what to talk about. So I pretty much just rambled for about 20 minutes. Like the audience got to get a preview of what my show is going to be like because I pretty much just got on the mic and rambled.
Yeah, because I don't know. I wrote like, okay, you're going to talk about where you're from, your family, your football, your different places that you played football, your education, your work. Like I had all these points written out, thinking
Right.
it would take like
Yeah,
20 minutes.
I've got plenty of content.
That's okay.
I got plenty of content to talk about.
Yeah,
For sure.
but yeah, so it's helping me learn too.
There you go.
Hmm.
I think you have plenty of stuff to talk about for your show. I think you have more than you even know, and you just need to let it.
I know. I just need to like.
You just kind of have to let it come out.
Sometimes I think I need to not plan it.
Could be.
Gotta work on it.
That's all right. One way or the other, very entertaining show with Emma Spence and Chris Kolarvik. Of course, you can tune in to Beyond the Routine with Spence every week from 7 to 8. Just announced 6 to 7, 6 p.m. in Lincoln with Chris Kolarvik. So that'll be very exciting. Thank you guys for stopping in tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week. And get your happy on with Ricky C. Simmons coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Sea-Doo dealership. Score up to $300 off or a free 2-year warranty on 2024 Sea-Doo Sparks and $500 off or a free 2-year warranty on all other brand new 2024 Sea-Doos. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits